today by Greg Hutchinson, Executive Chairman of Emyria. Greg, thanks for your time.
David, thanks for yours.
You are one of, if not the leading, psychedelic-assisted treatment companies in Australia. For investors who don't know what that is and what it means, firstly, what is psychedelic-assisted treatment and why is it so important?
Well, let me start talking about mental health, because I think mental health related illness touches everybody, whether it's you personally who suffer, or you know a family member, relative, a work colleague or friend. We know how devastating impact can be. And for the last 20 years, there haven't been any new treatments for mental health related problems other than probably new antidepressants coming onto the market. Psychedelic-assisted therapy got opened up in 2023 when our TGA, off the back of clinical trials that have been conducted in the US, allowed Australia to become the first and still the only jurisdiction in the world where we're able to treat for two very important conditions, PTSD and treatment-resistant depression, using previously outlawed drugs, MDMA, which has a street name of ecstasy, as you'd be aware, and psilocybin, otherwise known as magic mushrooms. Now, we're treating people under very strictly controlled circumstances, as you'd imagine. It's highly regulated. Only authorised prescribers can conduct this treatment and prescribe the medication. They are psychiatrists who've gone through a specialised training protocol, received ethics approval and TGA approval to do so. And then we form a team around them to be able to support treatment.
And you've achieved outstanding results. How do those results help build out what you're trying to do and get further support from not just users and patients, but also the government and insurers?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So let's talk about it from a personal level. First up, patients obviously are getting a really big benefit from it, and so are their family and their supporters. The first 30 people that came through the program had to pay the full cost of the treatment, which involves the drug and over 90 hours of therapy, out of their own pockets. There were no third-party payers back then. But with the advent of the results that we're seeing, which are emulating the clinical trials in the US, 67% of people no longer meet the criteria for the diagnosis after the treatment, and then 12 months later continue to show improvement as they reintegrate back into society, as they go back to work. The reality is they're costing the insurers a lot less, because at the moment, or prior to this, insurers and others were having to pay an ongoing fee for these poor people who had repeated recurrent admission to hospital year after year. It was costing insurers about $60,000 a year to support these people through the hospital protocols.
And you've been able to get significant support from insurers and also the Australian government for your program.
Correct, yes. So in June of last year, Medibank became the first private health insurer in the world to support this program, and they've been incredible partners for us. Once a patient has undergone screening and been admitted into the program, they will fund the full cost of the program, which is just fantastic. And then in December last year, the Department of Veterans Affairs came out to say that they would support their veterans, or our veterans, who are suffering disproportionately from these conditions through our program.
And you've rolled out a number of clinics across a number of jurisdictions. What does the footprint look like now, and what are the plans?
Yeah, so you're right. We've got 2 clinics in Perth at the moment. We've opened one in Brisbane. We just opened one in Melbourne, and we're about to open one in Sydney. So the plan is to continue that expansion. We're doing so in a capital-light fashion, exploiting existing or capitalising on existing hospital infrastructure. We essentially rent 3 or 4 beds within a facility, which gives us a very quick capital-light mechanism for entering into a broader network.
And you are very much a bricks and mortar business. Is there an expansion of your IP and know-how globally that goes beyond what you're doing in the Australian market?
Yeah, that's a great question too. My view is that we probably won't establish clinics outside of Australia, but we are writing the psychedelic-assisted therapy delivery playbook. And I think that's something that we'll be able to capitalise on as other jurisdictions want to be able to roll this out at pace themselves. We'll be able to take them through that protocol, give them a turnkey solution. So I think that that's how we'll monetize what our learnings to date.
And at a personal level, not just executive chairman, you've actually written a sizable check to support the company and its plans. What does that say about your conviction for what Emyria is doing?
Well, I guess it says that it's very strong, doesn't it? It's not every day that people in my position will write out checks to support a company, but I like putting my money where my mouth is, and I've got a lot of conviction about this. I said at the outset, we've all been touched by mental health. I'm no exception. I believe strongly in what we're doing, and the results that we're seeing are outstanding. So there's nothing not to like about this business.
A clear footprint and an expanding footprint, market validation, end user validation, and importantly, insurer validation. Exciting times ahead for Emyria and its shareholders. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for your time, David.